You know, when community welfare organizations are handling urgent cases, things like missing persons or sudden medical emergencies, every single second counts. Today, we're going to look at a system that was built to make that time matter, using AI to give a serious boost to the people on the front lines.
Right, let's really dig into this, because this one sentence gets to the absolute heart of the problem. You had these incredibly passionate, hardworking volunteers who were giving it their all, but they were basically fighting a losing battle against a system that was just broken. The will to help was there in spades, but the actual workflow was holding them back.
And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? When any delay can have truly serious consequences, making things more efficient isn't just a nice-to-have. It's about making sure that vulnerable people get the help they desperately need, right when they need it most.
So, before we jump into the solution, it's so important to understand the sheer chaos of the old system. Let's break down the exact hurdles these community workers were trying to get over every single day.
And look, these weren't just little hiccups. We're talking about major system failures. Cases would come in as these jumbled, unclear notes. Volunteers then had to guess at how to categorize them, which led to all sorts of inconsistencies. The emails going out to authorities, they varied wildly in quality, which just created more confusion. And maybe worst of all, with no central tracking system, it was almost impossible to know the status of any given case. Every single one of these issues was a bottleneck, where precious time was just lost.
The human cost of this chaotic system was just immense. It put this incredible burden on the volunteers, leading to stress and burnout. But way more importantly, it meant that the very people who had reached out for urgent help were left waiting and wondering.
So faced with these critical, life-altering delays, the team knew that just putting a Band-Aid on the problem wasn't going to cut it. They needed to completely redesign the entire process from the ground up for the world we live in today.
And this right here is a really important point. The goal was never to take the humans out of the loop, not at all. It was about building a powerful tool that could handle all the repetitive, administrative grunt work, freeing up the volunteers to do what they do best, provide actual human care and support.
Okay, so what does this new system actually look like in action? Let's walk through the new automated workflow step by step and see how it all comes together.
All right, let's follow the journey of a single case. First off, it's submitted through a simple Google form. This makes sure all the key info is captured in a structured way right from the get-go. Then, boom, automation kicks in instantly, generating a unique case ID. Just like that, the tracking problem is solved. Third, and this is where it gets really smart, AI helps the volunteer by suggesting a case type and polishing the description. We'll look closer at that in just a sec. Fourth, the system intelligently routes the case, creating a professional email and sending it to the right officials. And finally, the central tracking sheet is updated with the case ID and status so everyone's in the loop. Every single step is designed to fix a specific failure of the old system.
Now, let's zoom in on the AI piece of this puzzle, and I want to be clear, it's not some big, mysterious black box. In this system, it's more like a super efficient assistant with two very specific and very helpful jobs.
First, it acts as the classifier. It looks at the case description and makes sure everything is categorized correctly. And crucially, consistently. No more guesswork. Its second job? It's the polisher. It takes those raw, sometimes frantic notes from a submission and transforms them into a professional, clear, and diplomatic report that officials can understand and act on right away.
And wow, this slide just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the raw input. You can feel the urgency, but it's messy. On the right, the AI polished version is perfectly clear, totally professional, and completely actionable. This one transformation saves an incredible amount of time and just eliminates any chance of misunderstanding.
So, what's the real-world impact of putting this system into place? Well, it's a massive shift. It's a journey from total chaos to absolute clarity. The benefits here are so direct and powerful. You get speed because automation just crushes those delays. You get clarity because every single communication is professional and consistent. You get accountability because every case is tracked from start to finish. And maybe most importantly, you reduce the burden on volunteers, letting them focus on the human side of their work, not the paperwork.
I mean, just look at this comparison. When you put the old manual process side by side with the new AI-powered system, the contrast is just stark. You go from slow, inconsistent, and hard to track to fast, professional, and completely transparent. It truly is a night and day difference.
And all of this brings us to the core takeaway from this entire process, this amazing synergy you get when you bring together people and technology.
You see, the reason this system succeeds is because it never tries to replace human compassion. Instead, it supercharges it. It combines the irreplaceable empathy of community workers with the speed and precision of AI. And together, they create something that is so much greater than the sum of its parts.
So I want to leave you with this thought to chew on. We've just seen how this model can completely transform community welfare. The question now is, what other critical fields out there are just waiting for a similar partnership to unlock their full potential?